so much going on energetically speaking. I felt the need to check in, see how everybody is briefly, and to also give you a couple of really important messages. So, right now, we are in a very interesting time. I don't think anyone really needs to tell us that, just because anyone who's paying attention to what's going on in the world will be able to see this happening anyway. We're just in a very, very interesting time in our collective experience right now. There's just so much going on in the sign of Aquarius. So many different challenges are coming through, so many different opportunities are coming through that, it's very understandable when people feel overwhelmed by all of this. And it's just really one of those times. Now, some of you may be, of course, coasting through things, floating through things, enjoying everything that's there, and that's great. But a lot of you aren't. So, take which parts of this message apply to you, as with everything that I say, and just know that there is a spectrum of experience. So I was actually talking about this in a lot more depth in my Tier 23 program. And you know the policy. If it's something super important, it'll definitely make its way to, the public domain in terms of what I share. So let's just take a step back and look at what's going on right now. Just a very basic look. And I'll get to the hellos once I'm done with the message. So, but hello to all. So just as a basic overview. So we've got the Sun in Aquarius, Mercury retrograde in Aquarius, Venus in Aquarius, Jupiter in Aquarius, Saturn in Aquarius. And this is basically what we call a stellium. So multiple bodies within a certain range of one another acting together in a single sign. So, if we think about what Aquarius is about, now, like I said, a lot of people get Aquarius and Pisces confused. There are overlaps, yes, but there's also a lot of differences. Aquarius is the fixed air sign, and it's the kind of energy that deals with the mind, the higher mind, the way in which we connect to benevolent energies, group consciousness, and how we really open these energy centers. Of course, there's more to it, but this is in a nutshell. So, at a practical level, Aquarius deals with our relationship with technology, with the stock market, with altruistic or charitable networks, with friends, with people whom we understand as soulmates, because it's part of coming together to find, those on the same wavelength. And, we've been all in our own ways, ideally working towards, kind of preparing the way for the age of Aquarius, settling into the difference in vibration between Pisces and Aquarius. So, for those of you who've been following me for a while, you know that I've been talking about this for a while. And as have other people. It's not like as though this is the first place you would have heard it, but maybe said in this particular way. But effectively, Aquarian energy at this time is so awake and alive in the skies, it's forcing all of us to take a very different mental look at just who we are, what are the ideals that we stand for, how do we connect to others with those ideals, what is our larger vision of society, and who are the people whom we deem to be our soulmates. Now, there's a lot of fluffiness and woolliness in the word soulmate. People get very excited and automatically assume it's going to be prince, princess, or something charming or whatever who's going to save you and be with you for the rest of your life. Sometimes that happens, but a lot of the time, a soulmate is someone with whom you simply have a very kindred connection. And that might be a person, that might be a fur baby, that might be your own child, that might be a mentor, that might be someone you never meet in the flesh and are basically pen friends with. So it's the kind of energy that's not as involved, in that very romanticized Disney Hallmark way we've been taught to think about soulmates. And of course, that is the language that also informs a lot of the undercurrent of New Age rhetoric. So when we try to find people who are wanting to actualize and operate at a higher frequency of existence, when we come together with all of that seriousness and earnestness to create a better world, something happens. A ripple happens in reality. A shift happens in consciousness. And each time a person awakens, it just makes awakening that much more likely for the next person, which is why our individual work is so important. I mean, when we look at all of the problems in our world right now, we can feel overwhelmed. Sometimes you get people who just get off on looking at how shit everything is. And sometimes you get people who just look at all of this and go, oh God, I'm going to retreat because there's nothing I can possibly do. But from an energy perspective, that ain't right. Each and every individual has something to contribute. And it's not about doing something on a grand scale. Sometimes all you need to do is start with something that's very local, very simple. It might be something like creating a reading library for kids in your neighborhood. It might be something like leaving out, goods or items that you don't need anymore for someone who can't use them. All of these things are simple, little ways that we can actually just lift that burden a little more. And as you know, we are going to be seeing major shifts across the planet. And as I've been speaking about, we need to create a safety net, especially for those who are most at risk. So people who are doing nonprofit work, people who are doing or the same work in a different way, or people who are simply trying to create this global network, this global safety network, one community at a time, one person at a time, are very much in the right frequency. Now, what's interesting about Aquarius is that all of these energies are being clashed with by bodies in Taurus, namely Uranus and Mars. And of course, Uranus is the ruler of Aquarius, right? But the older ideas also see Saturn as the ruler. So when we see Uranus's energy from Taurus, the energy of Gaia, the energy of entrenched structures and energies that hold a particular form, a particular shape, or a particular way we think about the vessel of abundance, the matrix of manifestation, we are being challenged to break through these fundamental ideas that shape the way we hold matter, the way we conceptualize matter as mattering in the first place. So there's some meta level shit that's going on with these energies activating Uranus. And this year, next year, we're going to be seeing the influence of Saturn and Uranus in the square alignment very powerfully. That hasn't started yet. So all of this is really a build up to those larger shakeups. That's one of the reasons why I'm not at all surprised seeing what's going on with Reddit investors and Wall Street. It is the perfect manifestation of Venus and Aquarius and the way technology is being used to not even redistribute wealth necessarily, but to challenge the powers that be, quote unquote, that seem to have a means to monopolize and control our global and collective access to resources. So there's going to be revolutions in the financial sphere. There's going to be revolutions in tech. There's going to be revolutions in food management and technology. There's going to be changes in the way we think about the body and medicine and all that kind of stuff. So when you look at it in a sum total, it feels like it's overwhelming. But if you were to look back over, your shoulder and just look at all of the changes that you've survived through, forget about your entire life, but just in the last 9 years, it's important to realize that you've already survived through um, pretty pretty epic level of energetic shifts. The Pluto Uranus squares, I remember that very well, and everyone was like, oh my god, are we going to survive this? Yes, of course we survived it. Well, at least a lot of us did. But the real shifts that we are going to be expecting to see as one age finishes and the next age begins, they're yet to come. So it's all about realizing there's always something overwhelming going on. And if you always worry about it, you're not going to be able to do what you can actually do in the here and now. So focus on creating that ripple effect, even if it's a small thing you can do for someone. Now, one thing I got to say is, as you're trying to make the world a better place, try not to pedestalize yourself. Try not to pedestalize your ego. A lot of people do the right things and read books on consciousness, or they adopt different lifestyles and they forget the actual spiritual virtue of what they're reading, and then that turns into another ego platform. That doesn't help. That doesn't help. So whatever you're doing, remember to keep it humble. Remember to keep it real. Remember to understand that everything that all of us can do, those of us who are doing it, we are doing it by the grace of something that is larger than ourselves, which we cannot understand at a conscious, logical, intellectual, or human level. Because if those powers that be, the actual things, the actual spiritual energies that keep this universe going and give us the tools to fight back those aspects of it that need to be reformed, we are here by those graces. So you're not alone in this. You're never alone in this, you know? So, one thing I wanted to tell you is to give you a couple of heads up, like key alignments that are going to be coming up. Some have already started, but so I've already kind of just, touched on them. So, February the 5th, these are just some very key ones, all right? February the 5th, we're going to be seeing the Sun in Aquarius trine the North Node in Gemini, okay? So, this is the kind of energy that gives all of us the opportunity to break through and find new ideas. You gotta be grounded for this. The thing about with all of this energy in Aquarius, it's going to be so easy for people to get distracted by what I like calling shiny object syndrome. It's like, oh, that's interesting, and that's interesting, and this person wants to talk, and that person wants to do this, and this person wants to do that. That doesn't help. Whatever you do, however cool or cutting edge it is, it's got to come from that place of groundedness. Groundedness and grace. These are going to be two very, very important things to carry and remember to carry at this time. Just because people can sometimes get caught up with the intense, the roller coaster ride that is intensity. And I think one of my neighbors must be clapping as part of some morning exercise. I'm going to take it as, as a standing ovation. Another thing that's happening on February the 5th, now this one I'm not too happy about, is that the Sun at 16 degrees of Aquarius squares Typhon at 16 degrees of Scorpio. Now, when I do astrology, I basically use something like 150 objects or more. So what I share on tier 23 is maybe something like a condensed summary of 20 objects. And what I share here is an even more condensed summary. So when I bring up something, it's because, there's no other way to address it. It's got to be addressed. And so once in a while, I'll introduce something new. So there is a body known as Typhon, asteroid Typhon, that's Typhon. The number is 42355. Now, Typhon has a rep. If you look into mythology, Typhon was this being that the gods were terrified of this guy. It's also known as Typhion or Typheus, described as a grisly monster with 100 dragons' heads who was conquered and cast into the underworld by Zeus. It was the personification of volcanic forces, according to Britannia.com. But it's basically this very serpentine, draconic monster of the earth. Now, this dude is getting a lot of action in the next few days, which I'm not entirely happy about, just because as the sun clashes with Typhon and Scorpio, this is where, I would say those energetic earthquakes are likely to ensue. So, if we are doing any kind of spiritual work, astral work, facilitative work, ancestral work, karmic work, anything that just is taking your attention to a more subtler realm of energy, you may want to give February basically this time, you may want to give it a bit of a miss, just because there's going to be this rippling current of energy rip roaring through. And I cannot tell you what its full effects are going to be. I can just say, keep your eyes open. At a collective level, it can come up with matters to do with finances, health, sex, the way we think about power. It can even come up in a revelation surrounding a particular country's use of military weapons or something like that. There's so many different ways that this can come up. And it can even manifest, I would say, at a geological level. So, if you live in an area where you're prone to earthquakes, just keep a slightly closer eye on, your early warning systems, if such a thing is there, and just know that you're more likely to see such activity. So basically, just keep your eyes open. February the 6th, we see Venus conjunct Saturn, and both of these fellows sextile Chiron. February the 6th, whilst all of this shaking energy is about, we are still being asked to really anchor our energies towards the much larger picture that we want to manifest with our partners, with our collaborators, with our peers, with our soulmates, with our soul collective, however you want to define it. And because Venus and Saturn sextile Chiron, whatever you're doing gives you a real opportunity to look again at whether or not the truths you are bringing into the world actually heal, or do they cause more harm. Sometimes people tend to appeal to each other based on what they think the other person's vulnerability is. That's why I do not like facilitations or facilitators who advertise their services by making, their client feel as though they have a problem that only they can fix. That's a hook. You don't need that when you work with an Aquarian frequency. A person doesn't need to be seen even as having a problem that absolutely has to be fixed to be the only way that you heal. Those of you who have bodies near 6 degrees Virgo will experience this as a yod or finger of fate, especially if you have anything near 6 degrees Virgo, if you've got anything coming up with your health, but especially anything to do with circulation, your nervous system, anything that has to do with the neck up, upwards, anything that has to do with your ankles, anything that has to do with the digestive system, please take a rest and look into it. And if you do have faulty wiring in the home, do not take it for granted and leave it, lying about. Do what you can. February the 7th, we see more of this electric shaking energies with Venus squared Uranus and Taurus. So, of course, we're going to be seeing more shakeups, whether it could be literally in the ground or things that have to do with relationships, the financial system, technology. Back up your files if you're working on sensitive projects. What I also see is Eros at 6 degrees of Sagittarius, sextile Saturn, trine Chiron, meaning it's also sextiling Venus as well. So with Eros in the mix, this is I would say one of the prime candidates to initiate shiny object syndrome. Um, you need to be really careful with not going into paths that are trying to lure you on the basis of some perceived yes, this sacred union or this sacred intimacy or this sacred whatnot is immediately going to heal me and make me whole. My cat is agreeing. So stay away from those kind of quick shortcut type answers or things that give you ridiculous promises. Take the time, do your due diligence. If you can actually just take a moment to remember before you jump in, that can be a big help. Another thing that comes up February 7th, we see Ceres at 24 degrees Pisces conjunct Boracisi. Ceres, mother nurturer, also mother smotherer. I like to remind people that mother and smother are one letter apart. Voracity is the energy of the false light, as far as I understand it. So when we see Ceres conjunct Voracity at 24 degrees Pisces, it's also a time for us to be very, very clear about what fantasizations, projections, and idealizations we have surrounding the concept of nurture, whether it's nurture that we give others or nurture that we expect to receive. And very often people try to, yes, baby, you have something to say? Very often people try to project things that are not there so that they can justify staying in icky, sticky, martyrdomy, codependent relationships, because they go, but this is sacred love. I'm grinding myself up here. It's got to be love. No, that's codependency, and you have bought the Kool-Aid around it. People who have, who need a little bit of a conceptual framework, the books I'm going to recommend. Women Who Love Too Much by Robin Norwood. Anyone can read that book and benefit. And also Why People Don't Heal and How They Can by Carolyn Miss. I know I recommend these books a lot, but these books were foundational to me. February the 8th, we see the Sun and Mercury retrograde in Aquarius in conjuncting Vesta at 19 degrees of Virgo. And this is again going to bring up those questions of just what are you serving? Are you serving in a way that takes away from your vital right to be whole and happy and sane? Or are you serving in a way that brings collective health to all, including yourself? Also on February the 8th, we see Mars opposite Typhon. Yet again, a second activation of Typhon, which I don't like. So we see this shaking energy still coming through, still coming about. Now, the unleashing of all energies isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's kind of like it can be a wave that maybe you want to sidestep if it's not your problem or if it's something that's just kind of too large for you to individually handle. So facilitators need to be very careful about the way they tap into collective fields and collective alignments at this time. It's also generally a good reason to watch your temper, watch your anger, watch your own impetuousness, and look at energies that are trying to provoke those responses out of you. But that is what I wanted to say in terms of just the energy of the next few days. I mean, of course, we're going to be having the upcoming new moon in Aquarius. Of course, there's more to say. And of course, that's the 11th of February. But I would say for now, just watching these few days and really paying attention to them can really go a long way for everyone. And my cat is trying to do something funny, but she's okay. So let me just open the door before she does something. Baby, wait, hang on. Yes, this is her way of going, Mommy, if you don't open the door, I'm going to climb things. She does that. She absolutely does that. Just hang on. Wait, come on, girl. At least she waited till I finished with the material. Hang on. Okay, okay. Her cousin's right outside the door. They're both listening. So, now let's get to the community discussion. Oh, oh, oh. Let's get to the community discussion and let's get to hellos. So, for those of you who just wanted the intel, we're done. Let's look at what people have been up to. Okay, so hello, Osset. Hello, Dawn. Hello, Coyote Prophet. How is your cat? Hello, Lex. Hello, Candy. Hello, Ginger Snaps. Hello, Cicely. First time catching me live. Excellent. I hope you're enjoying it. Well, enjoy being an interesting word for this. I hope it's beneficial. Hello, Batwoman. Oh, yes, I understand it is a struggle. Hello, Kimberly. Hello, Pepper. Hello, Erin. Hello, Steve. Enjoying your birthday. Happy birthday. Getting over some intense muscle nerve pain. That would make sense. Yes, it has been crazy. Hello, Fatma. Hello, Vanessa. Hello, Yessie. Hello, Jennifer. Hello, Stormfelt Witch, pointing and cackling at the bourgeois. Hello, Nacha Libre. Hello, Batwoman. Again, have I been able to watch American Gods? No, but I saw a little bit of it, but I think I prefer the book. So I'm going to stick with the book. I think I like the way I imagined it more in my book. Or rather, the book I imagined in my head. Hello, Aether. Hello, Samantha. How is Cleb? Hello, Luna. Oh, Albuquerque's been good. Excellent. V Stormfeld, which says 2012 is when they figured out they were trans. Fantastic. It is a very transformative year. Hello, Devi. Hello, Evie Love. Hello, Ohenenana. Hello, Melanie. You're most welcome. I hope the warning helps. Hello, Michi. Okay, okay. Crystalline says, oh no, my natal not node is 15 Gemini in the 12th and natal Saturn 15 Scorpio in the 5th. Please take care of yourself. Michi says, hey kitty. Hello, Christine. Hello, Kimberly says, fur baby wants to be heard. Yes, she does. Coyote says, my wiring has been funky for a week. Ooh. Let's see. Oh, hello, Super Ham Hams. Hello, Joyous Day. Hello, Tree Essence. Okay. Okay, good. I see. Your fur baby's name is Sirius B. Very good. Very cool, Coyote Prophet. Hello, Sair. Hello, Brandy. Lovely to see you. Hello, Alexandra, who is my cool friend. Hello, Malika. Live from Mexico. Nice. Margaret says the struggle is real. Hello. Oh no, Tree Essence says our sweet 13-year-old dog was diagnosed with heart failure last week. And yesterday my wife received some bad results from a recent breast scan. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear it. What can I do to protect my family during these intense times? Oh, be present, show up. I don't know if there's a way you can protect yourself, but I know that when you're going through a crisis, the only thing you can really do is be present and show up. Don't take them for granted. Don't take yourself for granted. That's tough. It's really tough. I mean, I've been through tough times in my life, tougher than I would have ever liked or imagined. And the only thing that really got me through that is to take one day at a time. It's not to say that it stopped being tough, but it's take one day at a time, and above all, have faith. Have faith, not necessarily that someone is going to save you, but when you open that space of faith in your heart, you also give a lot of possibilities, newer possibilities to emerge. Very often when people go into crisis, they kind of go into a very restrictive state of mind. Their anxiety, their worry, their fear, their guilt, whatever they're feeling comes in as a dominant pattern. But just being able to hold that space, to have faith, to allow a good outcome to emerge no matter what, it seems to be so daunting at that moment, that can shift the energy at a basic day-to-day level. But I am very sorry to hear it. Angela says, sure, could use a session, doc. Please book. Sheena says, much love, everyone. Nice to see you on here, Sheena. And Joyce Day says, let's hit the like button. Thank you very much. I think, like, if I could, if it's not appropriative, rather than the like button, the symbol they do in like Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. It would be so cool if I had a Wakanda button. But that might be, well, no, that would just be cool. It's just like you don't really like this stuff. It's like, I feel you, I hear you, thank you, That's more what this is, but I know what you mean. Raymond L says, it's been a while, caught a live stream. Glad you can join us. Davy Love says, there's been a lot of old stuff coming up, revisiting old wounds. Is the Aquarian energy shifting this to a scattered process? Yes, just because what it does is it shakes entrenched energies. And yes, absolutely. Tree Essence says, thank you so much for your words. You're most welcome. I mean, I hope that is some comfort. Queen T says, peace and blessings. Blessings to you. Allison Sampson says, like a hug. Exactly, exactly. Um, but yeah, that is what's going on here. I've been having some health issues, and as is my brother, and I'm not surprised given the chart. So we're just dealing with it bit by bit, day by day, moment by moment. I think it's really important to just know that there's no one who is infallible. There's no one who is infallible. There's no one who's above or beyond all of this. And everyone is just going to be having a human experience. So just bear that in mind. Even if someone seems like they're having the greatest time of their life, there'll be something they're not telling you. This is just a time where we need to show up. We just need to show up. Okay, welcome, Queen T. It's your first live. Lovely to see you, and welcome aboard. So I will say it's probably a good time for me to begin winding up, begin signing off. So, if you've got any, other questions, just pop them up here. Osset sends good vibes. Angela says standing in our truth is hard, but it's the work, honey. It's the work. It is the work. There is no going back after 2012. There was no going back. Going back died in 2012. It's going forwards, going forwards, going forwards. And the thing is, different collectives are going forwards in different ways. And remember, it's also Mercury retrograde. So it pays to just slow down and break things down into bite-sized chunks. It pays to ask and double check, and it also pays to remember that technology is acting up. Oh, okay, good. Batwoman feels better, fantastic. Crystal and Crow sending some love. Angela says, okay. So I send all of you a lot of love. Do not be afraid to chill out. I know that, there's a lot of work to be done, but you also need rest. You also need play. You need a bunch of things to keep you a functional being. And no matter how hard things may seem for those of you who are struggling, make sure that you have those spaces in your life, because when you can carve out those spaces for yourself, no matter how bad shit seems to be happening, even if it's just watching Netflix and you're doing it for you, it's good enough. Just taking that space, taking that time can really go a very, very, very long way. So, with that, signing off, sending all of you much love, very, very many blessings. Coyote Prophet says, and if you can, everyone do alternative therapies. Yes, I would absolutely agree with that. Um, for those of you who work with the meridian system, it is quite a good idea to be looking at the large intestine and the lung meridians in particular. Um, yep, massage, Reiki, acupuncture, yep. Um, and Raymond says, relax, recharge, reassess. Yep. Gina says, you just brought me so much peace. I'm happy to hear it. So remember, sessions are open, sessions are happening. You can book at www.theskypriestess.as.me, or just type it into Google and you will find me. And the Tier 23 program gives you a lot more information and carries a very powerful punch. So, ciao for now, and very many blessings. Those of you who just joined, go back to the beginning, and maybe I'll catch you again for a different live. Bye!